It seems that the silence prior to unity is not necessarily silence without words. That it is deeper and cannot exist even with words or noise. It seems that the silence prior to unity is not necessarily silence without words. That it is deeper and cannot exist even with words or noise. I suppose can exist. We make a difference into, well, let's make it simple for the moment, in between two types of silences. One type is there's a gap in between two sounds or two noises or two words or two notes of music. That was a silence in between two words. That kind of silence has to be listened. That is, when you yourself speak, reduce the speed of your speech and bring some silences in between words or sentences. You will then give the possibility to the listener to really listen to you. If you have a very important flow of sound, flow of noise, you cannot listen anymore. It's very difficult. We are here in Canaries, which means Spain. And for Sunday lunch, we had a meal nearby. And there were quite many people. And Spanish people, they speak loud. And also there was music, permanent music. So there is no silence, never. And it's difficult to listen. Of course, you have to really make an effort for listening to somebody who speaks or speaks to you or the neighbors who are talking. So in those way of using the speech where you leave some gap of silences, it helps a lot for others to listen, but also it helps you a lot to listen to your own silence, to be aware of the gap in between noises. I call them intermediary silences. Now, into those intermediary silences, the silence is of the same nature of the silence of the universe. For listening to somebody or listening to yourself, you need silence. Now, There is another type of silence, which is, if we go back to body matter, for example, the silence of the cells, the silence of the tree that grows, the silence of the clouds, the silence of nature. This silence has nothing to do with words or intermediary silences. Intermediary silences, they come and go, they never last. There is another kind of silence that is the basis of all sounds, of all activities. By listening to the in-between words, the silence in between words, by listening to this silence, it is of the same nature as the fundamental silence. Is it possible to listen? Not for understanding. Remember, all understanding is coming from the past and the conditioning. Not listening for understanding. Listening just for listening, without any object. What is the state of listening? The state of listening is itself the fundamental silence. Can you catch this? Can you follow this? And the only fact of listening without object, without motive, without desire, without project, without memory, the only fact of listening is silence. And it is a silence that has no beginning. It doesn't have any source. It is not the cause of anything. The silence, which is a cause, is always an in-between silence, in-between sounds. You know, when you are in a place where there is a lot of noise or sounds, when you go out of this place, there is silence. That is the consequence. It is not this one that I'm talking about. It is the very state of listening is that fundamental silence. It is not to be looked at anywhere in the universe. It is only about that state of listening. A listening without any motive, any project, any regret, a quality of listening where there is no time. And in this quality, there can be sounds, there can be people speak, they can be birds singing, they can, it has nothing to do with it at all. It is the quality of listening. So the quality of listening is silence.